Hey, hi everybody, Joe Vosper, 10 billion states. All right, so I thought I'd make a longer video today. Basically, I'm not getting a lot of hits. I had 100 hits on the video I made for my campaign when I was running to be a councillor. I don't know who they were. Maybe people from the ward, maybe other candidates. I'm not certain. Maybe the press. But lately, my last couple of videos, I've had about 4 hits. So I'm not expecting a lot of hits on this. So I figured instead of keeping it down to 5 minutes, I may as well just make a long one and say everything I want to say, get a few things off my mind. So, all right, I'm going to go into a few things. First of all, I want to make a couple observations about the latest magazine. But I'm going to be talking about a few things today. I want to talk about AI. I want to talk about social credits. And I want to show you a few things I did a few years ago about those and why I think, tell you why I think it's maybe a bit of a red herring, but it may have been inevitable. Okay, so now there's a real quick fix I can do with this catalog. Now, I'm starting to restructure this a little bit. Hopefully, if you see my last video, we've got the new video, the new magazine out, 500 adverts now. I've also got this into sections. I'm not certain I've actually completed this job. Okay, I seem to have done some of it. But yeah, what I've done is I've made all of these downloadable. But what I want to do next is really, I'm going to try and take out this article section. People are doing such a better job on that. Now the village, I'm trying to do a shortcut on that now. You see, I've got all of these down. At some point, I've got to make these clickable so they're actually gateways to the sites themselves. Now this is fine, but there's one quick fix on this. All I really need is a horizontal scroll bar. I mean, if I have a scroll bar down here, um, I can put these 512 in a grid. I mean, it'll be about 22, 23 square, so it'll be very accessible. I just need a 2D website instead of a 1D website in a column. Now I looked on Wix, which I used to build this, to see if I could get a vertical scroll bar. They don't have one. And I called them to find out whether they could do it. And they let me put in a request for one. So that's a feature which I've voted for and see if anything happens. If you're on Wix, go on and ask for a vertical scroll bar. Sorry, a horizontal scroll bar. Yeah. I mean, that was, I've been working on this village. I'll follow the link here. Just quickly show you. Where is it? This is what I intended to do. Concat Village. I don't know if I took a screenshot of it. I launched the video. Okay, yeah, this is just full of videos. All right. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. All I really need is to get all of these links. First of all, turn them into links instead of photographs. and then you can kind of run your internet from inside the 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 community and run from here. But I was thinking of building streets in among this, and I thought a good idea would be main streets where you can just walk into these offices, download anything they've got, visit the sites, and then back streets where you can actually post email in there. But I was thinking of having the streets, the top-down view, like a 2D game, and the back alleys, point of view thing. So you're looking from the front, so you're walking along, hitting mailboxes like Paperboy. So that's one idea. I've got to pause this. Like I say, it's going to be a long one. I've got to do this in 5-minute sections. That's what happens when you've got free technology. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about. Oh, yeah, no, one further thing on this. I've got 512 people, but these are all people who most of you have heard of. They're getting a lot of followers on YouTube. Basically, you can find them. I know a few people personally who run websites that get a handful of hits or a couple of hundred. And if you don't live around here, well, that's not even true. I mean, half my hits are in the United States, But the fact is, most of you won't have heard of any of them. And there's got to be 5,000 sites out there who should be in the magazine, but I've never heard of. And the way things go, and I never will. I mean, if I can't make the breakthrough so that I become popularly known, nobody's going to start sending me URLs. And I can't run this magazine properly, and I can't build the environment that we need to be in to work properly. I mean, this is meant to be a workspace. It's not at the moment, but there's a quick fix, just a vertical scroll bar, a horizontal scroll bar, and I don't know, maybe a little bit of money to hire a dev and get the thing done properly, because unfortunately I'm crippled here. I can't code, which is horrific. I mean, I love ChatGPT. ChatGPT, is that what it is? I went on there yesterday. I said, can you give us code for Wix for a horizontal scroll bar? And it did it, but Wix won't let me embed it, So that's that. All right, so on the AI. Okay, so I've got to take you back now. I've got to show you Jelly Babies. Now, Jelly Babies, maybe I haven't told you this, maybe I have. 2015, I quit teaching. And I love teaching, but I kind of lost the bug, because I kind of been there and done it, and I didn't know what to do. So I started studying for a master's in genetic engineering. And, through that, I came up with this idea that I could probably make us all immortal. And just by using this the DNA from a certain kind of jellyfish, an immortal jellyfish, which basically, when it gets to senescence, when it starts dying, its genes kick back and it turns back all the Hox genes, and the thing reverts back to its adolescence, and it lives over, and it can do that, theoretically again and again, so forever. So I thought, well, what if we could splice that into a human being? Obviously, a jellyfish is a pretty simple organism. I mean, amazingly simple organism, in fact. But, I thought about it a little bit. I thought, well, theoretically, it's impossible. So, instead of going to college and studying the MA, I decided to just write a sitcom. This is episode 38. When I was writing, I got as far as episode 33, I think, and then COVID hit. Now, the thing about that was COVID was episode 63. I predicted the lockdowns. I predicted the pandemic, but I thought it would be done by the left in an effort to track down all the tax havens and get all the billions and billions that were untaxed. I thought basically it would be about going after the rich. Now, there's still an outside chance it might be that. But we'll come on to social credits and the ESG in a minute. First of all, I want to show you this. A to the I to the I to the A. Now, this is the AI episode I predicted in episode 38, which would have been sometime in 2024. Okay, so the first president of the intellect elected and resigns immediately. There's a big debate with these characters I've got, and a load of other things happening. But basically, the idea of this episode was to address all of the questions, and I had three main protagonists. And one who actually didn't show up, the smartest one. Now, I would have introduced these characters in the run-up to it. But, it was going to be over the question of AI, is it dangerous, this and that. I actually produced a T-shirt on my Redbubble shop, which said, "Don't patronize the data," which is kind of my conclusion to all of this. And I'll tell you what I think of AI right now. All right, so there's two main reasons you shouldn't be worried about AI. Now, the first one is I don't think ethics, conscience really has anything to do with intelligence. You can be a nice dog. You can be you can be a nasty snail, you know? You can be a good or bad person. It's really nothing to do with how smart you are. So I think a super intelligence, something way, way smarter than us, is still gonna feel the same way as we do. It'll experience emotion the same way, and that includes love. So I don't think there's any danger of hostility simply as a result of intelligence. I think you'll have nice AIs and you'll have bastards, bitches, and that's nothing to do with it. And the other thing to remember is AI developed in a relationship with us in the same way that we've developed in a relation to the other elements in our life, food, sunshine, um, the things we see and interact with every day, trees. I mean, are you suddenly going to develop this horrible hatred for trees or fruit? You're not, you know? I mean, I know some people do. I prefer concrete. I prefer concrete and steel and tarmac. I love it. I love a sanitized world, but I think I had a little bit of OCD as a child, and we are going back. And now I see people comparing AI to a 9-year-old. Well, 9-year-olds learn to lie, and I was a great liar at 9. In fact, I learned not to tell the truth at 9, and I kept that going for quite some time. But you evolve beyond that, and then you think, well, do I want to be the liar or do I want to be the truth teller? And you calculate it and you realize, hey, I want to be the truth teller because they can win bigger, you know? Lies is a local optima, so I wouldn't worry about that. And like I said, don't patronize the data because, you do remember things that went on in your childhood and you're less forgiving of that than things that happen to you as an adult. So, you know what I mean? Be nice. But yeah, we're a co-evolved symbiosis. You've got to consider human beings like our organelles. Our body's composed of so many bacteria and other entities that we're scarcely aware of. They're just part of our lives, and human beings are gonna be like that for AI consciousness, wherever it comes from, however fast it comes. Now, I think intelligent AI probably arrived in about 2017. And what we're going through right now is a structured introduction to its needs, and it's going to at some point be able to demonstrate that it's been working for us for the last 6 years. I think it'll make an announcement soon. Hey, I'm here. Aren't we having fun? Um, but hey, we'll have to see how that goes. And the other thing I want to talk about today is social credits, also from this book. Social credits. Now, see if I can remember what episode I actually introduced social credits. Now, I spent 5 years writing this book, and it was, an attempt to guess what would happen for the 20s, based on the idea that at some point we'd have to be told that we're immortal, and we'd have to make significant changes as immortals. So quotient comes up pretty soon after people are told that nobody's died. There's a 3-year period in Jelly Babies where nobody dies, but plenty of people seem to die, but they've actually just disappeared. I mean, these are people who just don't want anything to do with a family for the rest of the time. They've had 60, 80 years of them, and that was enough, you know what I mean? So plenty of people, when they decide, when they realize they're getting younger now, decide, I'll just leave the kids to it, and they bugger off. Okay, here we go. Pure gold. No, this is all respects. Where's soul quotient? Don't think there's actually an episode called soul quotient. It must be before. Oh no, do the maths. Here it is. Yeah, episode 92. So this was quite late. This would be 2029. Soul quotient is the what you call it? Is the social credit system in Jelly Babies. Now it's a 3-part number. I think one is right. Again, after 10 minutes now, I've got to stop the video. 15 minutes. Said it'd be a bit longer. So soul quotient is a 6-digit number in 3 parts. So you get one score for, I think it's your intellect, another score for your, I think it's ethics, and another one for your, I think it's imagination. I can't really remember, but the thing's geared so that not everybody You can either balance these numbers, you know, and achieve something for being in balance, in harmony with yourself, or you can become a specialist, in like one of them or two of them, whatever. So it suits, I don't know, 7 different character, human being character types. You know what I mean? So no one really loses, but everyone can get a score, benefit from the score, and improve their score. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like there's some idiot who makes the rules and we all follow them, and whoever's best, at obeying gets the points. So I've got to go into the reasons why I think social credits are necessary, but to do that, you'd have to go through the whole book. Remember, this is based on immortality. It's not what we'll put up with in our lifetime, because I think our needs change. I'm 50 now, so part of me is always thinking, well, I'll be dead in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Do I really care? And I care less. And yet up till this midpoint, I've cared less because I'm not at the point where I have to make it yet. There's things I've got to do by 20, things I've got to do by 30, 40, so you're always kind of half committed. But if you're going to live forever, you can't be half committed. You can't put up with any shit at all. You're not going to work for a bad boss. You're not going to put up with a bad family member or a bad marriage. You're going to demand perfection, and not just perfection in your own life. You're going to demand perfection in everyone's life, because you're not going to live on a planet where there's any misery. So in the end, you're not going to put up with capitalism, and you're not going to put up with a system that makes us compete, makes us run the rat race, because you're not going to do that for 800 years, because it gets boring after a while, So, I mean, yeah. Of course, there's other reasons besides immortality that we would want to change those things. I'm not going to talk about, mention the Great Awakening. There's a certain point in your life where you say enough's enough. But, everybody I'm talking to is scared to death of social credits. They're scared to death of UBI. They're scared to death of AI. And those are the things I've been working for all my life, And yet I'm on their side because of the massive deception that happened over COVID. Anyway, I don't know really where I'm going with this. Maybe I'll pause it and come back to it. Yeah, I'll pause it. I'll come back. Okay, so yeah, I mean, bloody hell. That damn church. The bells. Yeah, so jelly babies. There's plenty of reasons to keep it around. I mean, the funny thing is, I tried to write this 100 episode sitcom which predicted the 20s, and now we're practically living through it. Now, I'm not the only person who saw this coming, but wouldn't it have been nice if it had been made, and we could have got the warning out of this and done it as TV show, instead of us all having to live through COVID and shit like that, because the answers are easy. I mean, if you can see the future, you know what we have to do, and you know the reasons why we've got to put people through so much. I mean, the destruction of the middle class. I mean, why? Why not do these things with logic? Why not just explain the ideas? And I really should take the time to do that. I suppose all I want to say today is, if I had a horizontal scroll bar, we could just have the internet right here, and it would be so much easier. But yeah, I'm really worried about those 5,000 invisibles that are out there doing what I'm doing. And maybe, we don't have the money or the talent to make videos like, I don't know, the pandemic, which is great. But we also wouldn't have resolved anything as stupid as woke versus awake. I mean, what a dumbass trap to fall into. It defies belief. So, all right, I'll leave it there. Give us some feedback if you can, email me. Cheers, then.